Well, hello there. So this week was kind of a huge week for Prince Harry. You know, he was in court suing the Daily Mail, and I had the amazing opportunity to talk to my friend Tom, who was in the courtroom all day for Harry and the next day. It was kind of amazing. And it brings up a couple of questions. Number one, why was Harry fighting with the judge so much? And you guys have to realize the judge is deciding this case, not a jury. So why you got to be so petulant with that guy? He was clearly annoyed, the judge was, by Harry. And the other thing is, like, what does he want out of this? I get it, because he's not going to get a lot of money. He wants the Daily Mail to leave him and his wife Meghan alone, but it's not going to happen because they're public figures and everyone is allowed to make a comment on them and what they think their behavior is. But the other thing is, Meghan is not being picked on. She is being reported on. People, I mean, there's a reason why 11 publicists left in 5 years. You know, this is a job most people take for 5 years. They don't quit after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatnot. And a lot of people are talking. It's still America. You're still allowed to report on it. Now, in England, it's a little different. Their press rules are a little bit more favorable to Harry. But, you know, it's a little crazy. The other big question is, why did Harry leave court the second day? So he had shown up to support Elizabeth Hurley. As Elizabeth Hurley, who was a much better case than Harry, Elizabeth Hurley comes in with her son Damien for support. Notice Billy Ray was absent, her supposed boyfriend. And she goes in and she talks about how it was driving her crazy because she was clearly bugged 20 years ago, back when people in England were doing that kind of stuff. And she was traumatized by it because she was like, how could I trust anyone? I don't know what to do, all that other stuff. And it turns out she was being bugged. She realizes it now. She's giving testimony. Harry was there to support, but left at lunchtime to go visit the House of Lords, which really interesting. I got into it after with Tom. I got into it with my friend Henna at News Nation on Morning America. I'll let you guys see the clip right now. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, I would love to know what you think about this. You gotta let me know. Like, whose side are you on? Are you with Harry? Are you not? What do you think about his behavior in court? Please let me know, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
It was a big week for Prince Harry in the UK. The royal returned to his home country to testify in the privacy invasion case against the Daily Mail and its parent company. News Nation's story editor Paula Froelich spoke with someone in the courtroom, Tom Sykes, the European editor-at-large for the Daily Beast and the author of the Royalist Substack. Here's part of their conversation.
It's definitely the media trial of the century. 7 huge celebrities taking on the biggest newspaper in the United Kingdom, and it has been fireworks all the way from day one. There have been witnesses changing their stories. There have been allegations of paying of witnesses. There's been all kinds of skullduggery, allegations of dirty tricks by the rival teams of lawyers. And it all came to a head when Harry came into court.
Harry gets in a little tiff with the judge, and you were watching him, and it seems like he was pulling at straws and splitting hairs. Can you briefly describe that?
Yeah, so actually it happened 3 times. So the first time, the solicitor was asking him a sort of slightly, aggressive question. And Harry really went off on one, refuting all the evidence. And the judge intervened and very sympathetically said, listen, Prince Harry, you're doing what a lot of people in your situation do, which is you're trying to address every single thing that they're saying. Now, that's actually not what you're here to do. That's your solicitor's job. That's your barrister's job. You've just got to answer the questions to the best of your ability. So don't get distracted and just answer the question. So he goes back. Then it happens again, right? And the judge this time is a bit firmer and is like, look, you got to stop. You got to stop doing this because this is not what it's about. Your legal team will make the legal argument for you, like you know, blah blah blah. And Harry kind of starts going on about how associated newspapers are trying to strip all the color out of everything and trying to twist it and blah blah. And he's like, I know that's what they're trying to do. I'm a lawyer. I'm the judge, right? I've been. Do you know what I mean? And then it happened a third time. It was absolutely mad. So there was this story about how Katie Nicholl, one of the journalists, had called up Natalie Pinkham, who Harry was in a relationship with, and had asked her for comment, and she'd given a comment. And then Katie Nicholl had rephrased it as saying, like, she'd spoken to a source or something. And Harry's point, right, which is very obvious, is like, well, obviously a source who, you know, in most people's understanding is slightly different to somebody who you call up and ask for a comment. Like it's a bit misleading or what have you. And the judge was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about, mate. I'm a media lawyer. I understand what you are saying. Stop going on about it. And it was like Harry got into a ding dong with the judge. And it's a really silly thing to do because this is not a jury trial. That one judge is responsible for the decision.
If Harry wins on one count, does that mean the Daily Mail has to pay all court costs? Because right now it's up to $50 million, just the lawyers and court costs for this case.
Yeah, so I mean, the short answer is no. If he won an absolutely stonking victory, he probably wouldn't have to pay any costs at all. But if he just wins on one case, he's unlikely to have to pay more than 50% of them. And remember that the 50 million is divided between the 7 claimants. So, and there are other stories going around that the costs are actually being capped, that there's outside donors helping to offer to pay for them. So, I mean, look, Harry is not going to make any money out of this case, that's for sure. And I do believe that is not what this case is about. This is about pursuing his vendetta with the Daily Mail.
Vendetta with the Daily Mail. Paula joining me now. Paula, great interview. The case will continue next week. What can we expect?
You can expect more celebrity participants. You know, part of the group is Elton John. Then you've got Sadie Frost. What's really going to be interesting is if the Baroness testifies. So, as Tom had told me, you know, she is wavering on whether to testify. The Daily Mail had actually helped her out when her son was brutally murdered. So, you know, she's wavering. Harry, this is fascinating. So he went back the next day to kind of support Elizabeth Hurley in her testimony. And he was there while Elizabeth testified. Now, she actually has a much better case than Harry. She has a case where she's like, you know what? I can prove you did this because this was no way. And so there was that, but the Baroness is saying, and so Harry knows this, and he left court before Elizabeth finished testifying to go to the House of Lords, which is simply not done. Royals do not show up at the House of Lords. It should be like a barrier, you know, because royals are not politicians. They are supposed to be above the political fray. However, he showed up and people are saying it was to help convince her. Other people saying it might be to just kind of put the screws on some of the people who are deciding whether he gets royal protection.
So put some pressure, maybe. What stood out to you most with what we've seen in the case so far, Paula?
Honestly, when it comes to Harry, what stood out to me was it's clear that Harry has never been told no in his life. He is, you know, he was raised, he's pretty arrogant. He was raised that whatever he says is fine and right. And so for him to actually lecture the judge was pretty outstanding. And to do it 3 times was jaw-dropping.
What's the best case scenario for him?
that he gets, he's got 14 stories, that he says were, obtained illegally. Really, there only seems to be one that he could prove a point on, the one where he was sitting next to, someone gave the Daily Mail Chelsea Davies' flight record. Now, that's kind of hard to get. However, he could win on that one.
He is in London. Any royal reunions with his dad?
Absolutely
possibly?
not.
No.
No. The actual royals are really upset that he's doing this. They're also really upset that he went to the House of Lords. You're not supposed to do that. So Charles is in Scotland. William was doing his own work in the west of England, over 100 miles away. And of course, William wants nothing to do with Harry. So,
Clear message from the royals then to Harry.
A clear message. As long as you're going to be litigious, we're out.
All right, Paula Froelich, thank you for that. Be sure to subscribe to the Scoop newsletter for the biggest stories in entertainment,